Hello everyone, it is me, Anderson Blitz. This is going to be the first review that I've ever done for something, that is gaming related. So before we start this review, well, you guys know I love Street Fighter. Street Fighter is the franchise that got me into fighting games. As you all know, I grew up in the early 2000s playing a bunch of Street Fighter games when my local neighborhood had a bunch of arcade machines around it. Whether it was Alpha or the Versus series, I play a lot of Street Fighter. Even to this day, as you guys can see, I have pretty much a lot of Street Fighter games. I pretty much have these on my Vita, 3DS, PS4, not to mention having so many digital copies of Street Fighter 4 on my PS4, as well as having the entire Street Fighter Alpha trilogy on my PS Vita, and a copy of Street Fighter 4 Champion Edition on my phone, as you guys don't know from my iPhone 11 Pro Max. But I love Street Fighter. I started off with Street Fighter Alpha. However, for most people, many people started with Street Fighter Alpha 2. And the arcade scene is what made many of us huge fans of the fighting game genre. But in the past couple of years, we've been seeing a kind of a mini resurgence of the arcade scene, such as the Arcade 1-Up re-releasing a bunch of arcade machines, but with a bunch of emulators or the perfect arcade experience. And these mini arcade machines, such as Pac-Man and Galaga. Well, I have something to review that is very interesting. The My Arcade Micro Player Retro Arcade Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. This is a mini arcade machine that's supposed to be arcade perfect of the Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. So, look, as you can see by here, it actually looks just like the original one. If you look very, very closely, you have the buttons, you have the analog stick, and even the display. And you have this nice little history, as you can see right here. Of course, it's being recorded opposite the recorded mirror, but let's say it right here. Game history. The legendary arcade classic Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition was released in 1992 and featured revolutionary gameplay, including multi-button combination and addictive head-to-head action. 12 characters are now directly battling each other in 78 different possible match combinations, and unique feature where characters can base their true even themselves. So for many of you who don't know or need a brief history of Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, exactly what this version is, here is the brief history of Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition for some of you who may not know much of fighting games. Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition came out in 1992 in arcades, a year after the original Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior, was released. What makes this different is that it increased the playable roster from 8 characters to 12, which includes the 4 boss characters, Balrog, Vega, Sagat, and M. Bison. It fixed a couple of glitches, and it also allows you to do mirror matches with all the characters, making this a more improved version of Street Fighter 2. The point of this review isn't to review Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, but rather review if this mini arcade machine truly captures the perfect arcade experience of Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, but on a much tinier machine. So let's find out. So as you can see, the product itself has now been unboxed, and it actually looks like the arcade machine itself. Judging by the display, you have the analog stick, the buttons. In the bottom, you have the menu and coin button, and right here is the power button. I do want to warn you, you do have to put 4 batteries on this thing for it to function. And right here, well, this machine comes with this plug, and I'll explain what that is. So when you turn it on, it actually does light up, and you have the option to do 2 players like the good old arcade days. Because if you have another one of these mini arcade machines of Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, you could plug it in with this cable and do 2 players as always, or at least as the good old days. So let's start. And if you're wondering if this is like a random ROM of some kind, this is the actual arcade ROM itself. It's arcade perfect. Actually, take a look for yourself. I mean, I'm not kidding. The box is not lying. The box literally says original arcade version. It is the actual arcade version. Dun dun dun. So let's start. Let's press coins. And look at this, guys. Let me move this box out of the way so we can get a much clearer picture of this thing. Alright. Oh, Zangief. As far as how this feels, the buttons and the analog stick feel really good. It is a little soft, which I guess they're trying to mimic the arcade feel. So, in many ways, even though this is arcade perfect, this does feel a little uncomfortable, simply because this is a very tiny machine. It's very small, so it's gonna take some time to get used to, as you can see. I'm having a bit of a struggle trying to play this normally. One thing I do want to show you guys is that when you press the menu button, you can change the settings. You could change the screen sound, the demo sound, even the difficulty. I'm doing difficulty 4, and even the brightness. Go to lower brightness and the higher brightness. So there's a lot of options. I'll do native screen just to show you what it looks like. Come on. This feels very weird. I'm not gonna lie, folks. I'm not gonna lie, everyone. This playing this feels very weird. Oh my gosh. Do I lose? I mean, and then again, this is what happens when you spend too much time. Alright, you know what? I guess this is what happens when you spend too much time playing the, the original. Nah, you know what this is, guys? This is what happens when you spend too much time playing Street Fighter Alpha as a kid. Because that's how my childhood was. But yeah, you can change the difficulty. It does restart. Just letting you guys know. It does restart when you change the difficulty. So, let's try 3s. At least, let me try to win the match, you know? Let's see. Because... Okay, now we're facing against Dalsum. Okay. Can I win this time? Let's see. Here we go with the annoying elephants, everyone. Okay, now I'm winning somehow. Wow. So I guess difficulty 3 is my sort of option. I mean, everybody know. If you've been following my channel for a while, you guys know that I play a lot of Street Fighter games, but most of my experience with Street Fighter has been with Alpha 3 and Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5. There's a reason why I don't play a lot of Street Fighter 3, because that game can kind of annoy me, even though I think the game is impressive. But it is the perfect arcade experience, if you guys are wondering. How is he not KO'd? Wow, finish him with a sure you can. Okay, nice. Okay, let's do one more match. Let's do one more match. If I can, let's see. You must defeat Shenlong to stand a chance. AKA, you must defeat Goken to stand a chance. And I'm gonna die. I am not gonna win this, folks. If I gotta face myself, that's gonna be the worst part. But then again, that's the beauty of Champion Edition, was the introduction of mirror matches for the series. Come on. I'm more of an offense player, not much of a defense player, which is something I've always struggled in fighting games. Woo! So close. Okay, so, you know, in terms of what I think of this machine, you know, it is hard to deal. It is hard to get used to it because it is small as far as the button, as far as, you know, trying to control this and win. But overall, the button and the analog stick response is actually very good. Like, I consider this to be very great. It's a great arcade port. I am kind of struggling to do the Hadouken, I will admit. Wow, I was so close. I was so close. Can I win this? Can I win this round? I hope so. Man, I was about to do the crouch kick, the crouch heavy kick, and he pretty much did that at the same time I was trying to do it. The CPU, man, is no joke. Yes, I won. Okay, so overall, in terms of like what I think of this machine, there are multiple pros about this machine. Is that this is the actual arcade ROM itself. That is the most important thing. It is the actual arcade ROM itself, which is a good thing. And you know, the tough thing, like I said, to deal with is the fact that because it's very small, it might feel a little uncomfortable trying to deal with the buttons and the analog stick itself. But if you want to relive the arcade experience, this is it. And honestly, I think this particular game in the Street Fighter series is perfect for this. And let me explain why. These mini arcade machines, or at least the ones that they've released, such as Pac-Man and Galaga and all the other ones, are very simplified games, or very simple arcade games. Street Fighter 2, or at least this version of Champion Edition, is a bit slower. It's actually one of the more slower games in the franchise. And I think it's perfect because if they did one of, let's say, Super Turbo or Alpha or 3, you would be basically just punching, moving very fast, and might feel very uncomfortable. Because Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition is a bit slower game, I think this fits perfectly for a mini arcade experience. In terms of where you can find these pretty much at Target or Best Buy or even Walmart. You'll probably find this for around, let's say, $40 to $60. But if you want to relive the arcade experience from the 90s, and if you're a very, very big fan of the Street Fighter series just like me, you should totally get this. It's a very awesome device, and I would love to see more of these coming in the future. So that is my review of the Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition Retro Player Retro Arcade Micro. That's it. This is great. I think it's a great little collector's item if you love the Street Fighter series and if you want to relive it. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Please make sure to like this video, share, comment below if you have this, and if you want to see perhaps more fighting games have the mini arcade experience done. And well, this is Anderson Blitz signing off. Bye everyone.